Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fractures of Reality. In the last session, the party, dealt with some rather hungry gentlemen, and they've been waiting for a large, giant beast to clear out from the cave entrance, which it fortunately has. You, of course, waited at least, I'd say, another day to make sure that it had gotten a lot of distance so it wouldn't come after you. But at this point, it's smaller, but it's still very large in the distance. Alright.
Okay.
I think it's found something else to target.
Then we better silently get back on the road to our destination.
Yes, that would be good, yeah. Are you all ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
The sooner we get out of this cave, the better.
I've been ready since we got here.
Then, with a breath in, your friend and ally escort you outside and into the unknown.
Oh boy.
Oops, that's
Okay,
the wrong map.
Whoops.
We'll slightly giving the stink eye just a little bit to Cricket as they're walking.
Is something wrong?
Oh, nothing at all. So the fact that you didn't really do much to help us out in that little skirmish, did you, dear Cricket?
He looks a bit confused and he says, "Oh, is this Scree or Cricket? I'm sorry."
No, Cricket. Yeah, I said Cricket.
I'm sorry. I had a total brain fart there. Sorry.
No,
I was still in Cricket mode. I was still in Scree. Sorry. Yes.
She just kind of again gives him a bit of a like, what the fuck kind of look as she goes. sorry, excuse me, the language came out.
No. Rewinding the conversation. Rewinding the conversation because I answered it as the wrong character. He was answering your question and said yes. You called his name and he said yes.
Right. She's giving him a like what the heck look and says, I noticed you didn't quite help us on that last skirmish, dear Cricket.
I did not.
Care to explain why?
Did you require my assistance?
It would have been helpful somewhat. Or in the next skirmish we get into, you're just going to stand there again.
Do you require me to assist in combat?
Oh dear.
I think what he's trying to imply here is his help will have a price.
Did someone delete the token?
Yeah, that was a misclick on my part.
Press Ctrl Z.
Yeah.
I'll
Control Z.
set the token back up. Sorry, Rio, continue.
That was it. I think what he's trying to say is his help comes with a price.
Oh, I know. I'm feeling the fact that I and me and Cicada are now his warlocks. I can't expect much else for the moment until we figure out how to get out of here.
It is a simple yes or no question. Do you require my assistance in combat?
currently, I think.
Then I shall stand by.
All right, then. I keep forgetting. We're basically talking to somebody who's actually literal. All right, noted.
Well, if things are starting to look bad on our side, some assistance would be very helpful.
Define bad. Do you
Almost
mean
dying bad.
so not when you fall unconscious? Understood.
Right.
Very well. So, after that awkward conversation that I totally didn't mess up, you guys are imagining things. You travel a day, get some rest in whatever shelter you can find. And as you guys are traveling, you're able to see a little further.
Okay.
But with that, you all make it to the town.
May I add something?
Go for it.
Okay, so some of the more perceptive people out there in the group currently may notice that Cicada is scratching the top of her head more than usual.
May I add something?
Go.
Okay.
In if Korax passes through any kind of shadow or dark place or anything like that, and someone may spot a bit of a dull glow coming from her eyes.
Oh yeah, you notice.
Isabel definitely, yeah. She notices this a little bit and she frowns a little concerned, and she'll silently walk over to Cicada and grab her wrist gently and pull it down. She goes, "Stop doing that, dear. You're gonna lose your pretty feathers."
It's very itchy.
I can tell, but still, I don't want to see you go bald. I
Eh,
love your feathers.
I'll try to resist then. I didn't even notice.
That's my girl. She says that she actually just slowly smooths down the top of her head, somewhat kind of feeling, but also just trying to soothe whatever it is that she thinks is just a regular itch. At least she hopes it's just a regular itch.
You notice a slight bump on her head. It's
Her eyes slightly narrow
noticeable.
and concerned, but she stays quiet.
So, with your preparations done, you all step into the abandoned city. There's many ruined
Sword drawn.
town, not city town. There's only about 5 or 10 structures in total, and most of them are in complete ruins. In fact, one structure looks as if a large hand slammed down upon it. And with
Yeah, that makes sense.
and as you all arrive, Scree lets out a breath and then says, "Well, here isn't really any safer than anywhere else, but we're out of the starved man territory, so I suppose you could say it's safer in comparison, but it's not really safe because if one of those giant things gets a little too close, we're going to have to, move. But, welcome.
How often does that happen here?
Oh, it depends on how loud you are.
Okay, as long as
Then let's
we
be
stay...
quiet.
Yeah, let's be quiet.
Okay, so is there anything here? So, I suppose these buildings have been looted clean over the years.
Well, I mean, the only thing here really is, me.
Well then, let's see what these buildings have to offer. Could be something useful in them.
I can't imagine us finding much treasure here, Corax.
Treasure wasn't what I had in mind, but I don't know. Maybe anything useful. I don't know.
Any kind of resources.
Yeah.
You all may roll investigation. You look around this place and there's a bit of land where they've clearly tried to dig up some of the ground and maybe plant some seeds, but it's just barren and the dirt has a black texture to it. As for the buildings, most of them are covered in rubble, and what was probably structures at some point has long since rotted away. There's small bits and pieces of what might have been food at one point, but it's just a black mess. Some of the buildings are completely destroyed, some of them only have a couple of houses, but all of them look to be in disrepair. As for the investigations, Jezebel, you find one of the buildings has a little nest made out of like sticks and branches, likely from the plants that are naturally here. There's a small little ramshackle chest of drawers that is leaning to one side and seems to be held together with like spindly sticks that are just holding it up like it's a tent. It's being held together by sticks, but it's holding together. Charlotte and Jezebel, you all managed to find a structure that's in livable conditions that doesn't have a bird's nest in it. It has a hole in the roof, but with the resources you all have on hand, you could probably patch that up, and it would provide you with some shelter. Though, shelter from what, you're not sure.
Jezebel looks over the structure next to Charlotte as she kind of just glances around and she goes, "Not the best, but I suppose better than nothing. We can work with what we got." You think so as well, dear Charlotte?
What did we have before?
I'm sorry, say again?
What did we have before?
I mean, to be fair, we were traveling quite often, so it's not like as if we had exactly an exact place to return to. We mostly just kind of camped outside under the trees or starlight, but here, being on the open is not a good idea.
Yeah, especially not with the acid rain.
There's acid rain. Noted. Wonderful.
As if things couldn't get any worse.
I mean, it's better than no, I better not mention it.
One thing at a time, dear Cree, please, because we cannot take things all at once. We'll say it that way, because we're pretty sure we're going to end up losing our minds over here. And we don't want that to happen.
Right. So, well, I'm just gonna go, settle into my house thing there, and give you guys time to settle in. He sort of slowly backs away, with like he's facing you and he's slowly walking backwards, and then he moves into his little nesting area.
Okay.
Okay.
Still
Corax
not
is gonna-
sure how I feel about him.
Okay. Corax is gonna look around and see which one of these houses has the most intact roof.
I found it, remember?
Oh, right.
So Jezebel looks at everybody. She goes, "It's not much. We can at least use this for a little bit of cover. We might have to make a couple attachments as best as we can.
Maybe,
But
he's scabbing some of the patchwork material off some of the other houses.
As best we can, yes, because according to Dear Cree, there is acid rain, so we'll have to be scarce with what we use.
Scree.
He pokes his head out of his home. Oh, yes.
How will we know that there's acid rain coming? Are there clouds in this world?
Well, not clouds per se, and on the bright side, it doesn't damage these structures because it's made out of the materials that are on this place. Like, it doesn't damage the things from here, only those that aren't from here. So as long as you're under the roof, it's pretty safe. Though make sure you patch the holes with stuff from this place. Otherwise, it could go badly. And oh right, the question well, if you look up, you can see that, well, there's a permanent clouds and there's a lot of weird floating things in the sky. When that is completely clear, that's when you gotta be careful. Because that normally means either the acid rain is coming or the swarm.
Swarm.
I'm sorry, I was supposed to not tell you anymore until you get settled in. I'll be in here if you need me. And he pokes his head back inside.
No.
Dear
Okay,
Ryu, leave the questions for later once we get settled, please.
Alright.
Charlotte sets her bag down as she enters the house, and then she starts digging through it, looking for some tools.
Right.
Roll me
Well,
an
first,
roll me an investigation check.
Okay. I'm going to use Flash of Genius on that to make it a 10.
All right. Besides the tools you brought in, there's not really much of anything. You do manage to find a rusted hammer that was underneath where the hole is, so it's pretty rusted and looks partially melted, but with a bit of polish and scraping, you could probably make it usable.
Well, I was talking about my bag.
Oh,
Particular.
in your bag you've got
Yeah.
plenty of tools.
Okay. I don't have any. I got woodcarver, smith, and cartographer, so I'm gonna use smith tools to try and make like a hole in the wall with the materials I have here. Or, prepare the hole.
Alright, you use the materials to first make a ladder so you can get up to the hole. And then you gather sticks and various other things from around the area and make a ramshackle thatch roof, and you basically hammer that piece of roofing onto the hole. And then you squeeze out some apple juice using the bag you have to make some juice, and you test it, and you test the roofing with the juice to make sure that it's not leaking. And there's a little bit of dropping, like in one small section where, like, actually roll your tools. Let's see how well you did.
Okay. Is it with dexterity or intelligence?
Dexterity. No, intelligence.
Okay. Wow, that's what +9.
Yeah. There's a couple of holes like down up the top bit where it's still able to leak through, but you leave like a small like line in the dirt now that you've cleared out all of the gunk and like trash from the building, and you mark where the where water would still get through on the ground so people know, and But otherwise, the building is pretty sound. Like you managed to
I'm
get
assuming.
the majority of it to be waterproof.
I'm assuming it takes me a few hours. So Charlotte's gonna hum a small tune as if she's at peace doing this. If that makes sense.
Sure.
While she
Okay.
works, Jezebel's kind of gonna watch her with a bit of a content smile. She goes, "May have lost your memory, but you haven't lost your skills, dear."
Not too sure why. Did I always do this?
Maybe it's muscle memory.
Indeed, as Cicada said, this is technically what you're good at. You create things.
I create things.
Yeah, you always like to tinker with all sorts of stuff.
Like those cannons you used against those starved men, as Scree calls them.
The cannon. It felt similar or familiar, so I just thought of it. I'm not too sure what else to really think on. So I just thought of helping.
Good thing, right?
Well,
Hmm?
perhaps this will help you remember who you are then. After all, your sudden loss of memory was a bit sudden. Didn't quite expect it.
I'm sorry, I can't really explain it.
Okay.
It's just some things come naturally, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Cicada is going to try to find the highest point she can find, and you, and she's gonna use her cartographer's screw. She's gonna use her cartographer's tools to craft a map. In order to do this more effectively, she's going to cast Elevated Sight.
All right. Well,
Co- while she's doing that, Korax is gonna climb on top of the tallest building he can and just keep a lookout for any starving men or such things that get too near.
roll a perception check for me.
Will do. Wow, I am rolling like garbage today.
Oh no.
As for you,
Yes, I could
Cicada,
roll.
with your elevated sight, you are able to see to about, we'll say here. You can see another set of buildings like far, far in the distance. You can see small swarms of tiny creatures. Like, they look tiny from your heightened position. Like, from where you're looking, even you guys look tiny. So, you're pretty sure they're about the same size as you all are. But there's big swarms of them, and, like, there's one swarm that's here, and it's going in this direction. And there's one, like, here that's, going in this direction.
Interesting.
And that's about all you see. But for the most part, it seems very quiet.
Very desolate, even. But she's still gonna try and draw a map.
Sure. As for you, Korax, you see nothing.
Right.
What do you...
Let me know when my work is done.
It's been about a few hours now. You guys have been slowly exploring the area. But it's been pretty quiet. If anything, you almost feel a little safe here. As weird as that sounds. Regardless, Charlotte, you finish shoring up the building.
Charlotte would hop down from wherever she was as she finishes the building fully, and marvels at her own work for a while with a satisfied smile. She then looks at the group, expectantly almost, but regardless, she sets her stuff away, and her bag is still next to her. Everyone, I think I'm done.
Okay. Let's see it.
I can't tell what time it is in this world, but hopefully it's not too late.
It's 12. It's 12 to the tentacle.
What?
You know,
Uh,
it past claw, but before wing.
Ah,
Never mind.
so everyone's okay here?
yeah, I guess we're going inside just to take a look.
It's pretty barren of like furniture or anything at this point, and there's small sections that have been marked as danger, leaks. But there's some room. Like there's a little bit of a living room. Like it's even a very small bedroom that's relatively intact. And yeah, there's plenty of room for you all. Well, it's a little squashed, but there's enough room for you all to, sleep in that.
This looks pretty good. I mean, compared to what we currently have right now.
Charlotte's gonna sit down and just go through her bag again, just seeing what other items are in there because it's all unknown to her. Just digging away. Souls,
Just
go ahead.
Jezebel's just gonna look around and look up top. She goes, "Nicely done, dear Charlotte."
I gotta be useful somehow.
You've always been useful even before. This is just you flaunting your skills, we'll say.
I gotta take some pride after all.
Is helping you remember anything?
The tools felt familiar, but so does the gun. I don't know why, but I just want to toss the gun away.
As you think over the familiar feeling, you remember a square box that you saw in your bag. You didn't recognize it and it wasn't a tool, but you did see it there.
As Charlotte drops the gun, she looks into the bag again and pulls out this square box. Some of you guys might recognize it as a recorder, but it looks a lot more older and bulkier than the normal one she carries.
It's like one of your recorders, but older.
I had one of these.
For a second, Jezebel recognizes the recorder and gives a bit of a frown, recalling the last time Charlotte used that. But then when Cicada says older, she somewhat relaxes.
I've seen a
Like,
few of these.
yeah. I wonder what this one says, though. I don't think I've seen it before.
You instinctively know how to use it as well, Charlotte.
Charlotte looks to the buttons. Though some of them look frayed, likely from age. she tries to press the play button a few times, and a small spark would come out of it every now and then as if it was trying to play and it fails.
Eh,
And then she presses it harder each time out of frustration. And finally, it sparks up and lights up as if it's saying it's ready to be played. And a message comes from it. It's from what sounds like a higher pitched, younger version of Charlotte. Likely when she was a kid, even. And it goes. It was struggle because it sounds really staticky. And then finally, it sounds a bit clear. But as it's going and playing, Charlotte just freezes as she listens in on it. Testing. Testing. Hey, is this working yet? I hope it is. I've been working on this for years now. I'm trying to show her that I can do it. I can actually make something of my own finally. Oh, Grandma likes it. This is a Charlotte Hops original. This is the first recorder that requires no magic at all. Well, I hope it works. If I ever become famous one day, maybe I'll make this an exhibit even. I guess it's a little embarrassing. Well, first entry of my voice diaring, Charlotte signing off. And then the recording ends.
what?
As the recording ends, it all clicks into place, and you remember. You remember everything.
Oh boy.
You remember growing up and inventing. You remember your family's disappointment as you refused to go into the army. You remember learning how to use a weapon. You remember inventing. And then you remember her. The other Charlotte. You remember her life, where she did join the military, where she became an important and respected figure. You remember the day you accidentally snuck into an area and got a rather rude awakening as you saw something you shouldn't have. You remember soldiers saying that he'd never get away with it. And as you are remembering all of this, Charlotte, you all see the fur that was black slowly turn white, and the fur that was white slowly turn black.
I knew it.
Did that not? Oh, there we go.
My dreams. Everything.
You changed color.
I take it we're talking to the Charlotte from our world now.
Eh,
You're talking to someone who is named Charlotte. They're the same person. Their past might be altered. Our past might be altered. But we have the same dreams and reality. We have the same vision. We have the same desires.
And memories.
We share them.
Then you really do remember everything.
I remember seeing something I wasn't supposed to. And I got reprimanded for it. Pretty harshly, even.
What was it?
For now, it's not something here or there. For now, we focus on getting out of here.
Do we still call you Charlotte?
Well, no longer a black hair, but I'm still Charlotte to you guys.
Okay.
But are you still are Charlotte?
Charlotte pulls out a recorder from her bag. And it's the one Jezebel knows. And she smirks.
Okay. I'm glad to hear the two. I'm glad to hear both yourselves are in harmony. I'm I'm having to keep my other self imprisoned.
Well, Cicada's other self is currently being occupied by Cricket.
In the end of it all, we share the same vision. Just because we're joined doesn't mean that ever changes. We never wanted to join the war. We never wanted to fight for tactics, for killing, for dying. It wasn't our cause. That wasn't what our dream was. As you guys said, I'm an inventor. And as my mother and my grandmother, who was the inventor of artificing, I want to surpass that. That is my dream.
Then may your dream Then may your dream find you swiftly.
I appreciate it. But first, we
Despite
gotta
her,
get out of
yeah, despite her displeasure at seeing that damn recorder, she does give Charlotte a very understanding smile, though, hearing her goals, and she goes, "Oh, I can respect that as well."
Have you back? I kind of missed you.
here. I needed a reminder.
I'm glad you found it.
There is one last thing as well, Charlotte. You now have a fracture.
Oh,
You can sense her. Standing beside you. She's got your back.
You know, everybody except me and Jezebel have fractures now.
Eh,
Yeah.
Well, in this case, the fracture is the real thing, and the real thing is the fracture. But you know what I mean.
Complicated.
don't think about it too hard. You got a headache.
Ah,
So we're still biding time then until we get some help.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of
Basically.
all we have going for us left.
Charlotte Arms glows with the same circuits or the same color as when she casts spells as before. DM, am I able to still feel the ability to summon portals?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. You are?
Oh. Okay. That's still normal then.
I was shifting around in a squeaky chair.
I gotcha. So, in the end, abilities are still the same, optimal. All right.
Hmm.
Charlotte starts talking to herself as she's becoming very analytical.
Seems like you still have the power to make portals, but it's still pretty risky to use it here, from what we've been told.
This is a dire scenario if I do use it. I
Hmm.
don't plan on using it while we're still in it. I would say in a satisfactory conditions. Not very grand, but it's not too bleak yet either.
Right. Well, think of using that as a last resort then.
That's the plan.
The others will get us out. They have to.
If they don't, I guess in the worst case scenario when I use a portal, who knows what will happen.
We'll
Well,
get there when we get there.
Yeah.
we'll try not to get there, though, because according to Dear Cricket, it will not spell good news for you, dear.
Well, if I die anyway, this is the best resort. So, she says this with like a casual smile.
No, don't
Regardless,
die.
regardless, it's not here or there.
Hey, hey, hey. We've even got Alex looking for us. A god is looking for us. How much longer will we possibly be here?
It depends how well time's distorted. To be honest with you, could be a day in here, 2 days out there. Could be 2 days out there, a day in here.
Since it's a convenient time, I'll also mention you just got a message. You just got a message. You just got a message.
From whom?
Here it is. It's from Alex.
Here?
Alex? We
Great.
found you working now.
Oh my goodness.
Wait. They figured it out. They figured something out. We're gonna finally get out of here.
Oh my gosh, yes! Finally!
Jezebel kind of just sighs, giving a small smile. She goes, "This is my father we're talking about here. He's going to do whatever he can to bring us back. Like I knew he would."
This is good news! You still have hope of getting out of here alive!
That we do.
Just have to hold out for a little while longer.
Yeah. And also
Indeed.
need to remember to keep quiet because there's a big scary thing out there.
Indeed. As I've been saying this whole time, dears, we just need to hold out until either they find a way or even we can save ourselves as well. Jezebel
Well,
gives a hum as she kind of taps her chin, giving a cheeky grin. She goes, "I wonder if we were able to find a way to get out of here before my father helps us. I can rub it in his face."
that would be cruel.
You also
But
get a second message. Sorry, continue.
I'm gonna make a few ground rules since we're in a building from now on. And you're welcome to ignore it, of course, but this is just what is best for our safety at this moment. Let me know when you're leaving the building when we rest.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll have a slight discomfort. Other than that, there'll be a bit of annoyance, but nothing too bad. Charlotte starts looking around their house, and how many open doors or passageways are there in this building?
There's 2 windows and 2 doors.
How big are the windows?
You know, standard windows.
Okay, so decent enough for a person. I will start looking like I'm setting up some weird contraptions with a few guns. Hey, Jezebel, can I borrow your gun? Do you still have one?
Jizzle gives a small, uneasy smile with a hand on her. She goes, "Well, I still have my pistol, and I."
Yeah, you don't need them, right? You don't even use them half the time.
Also,
Well,
you
they are a
also
little.
still have Cicada's crossbow, which you never used.
I have the crossbow too. Yeah, the light crossbow.
Anything will do. Just something that's a projectile.
They ask what you're gonna do with them.
I'm setting up some defense measures.
Will I get it back?
Yeah, when we move.
Hmm. Jizzle looks skeptic, but then shrugs, grabs her pistol, and tosses it to Charlotte.
So
Uh-huh.
I'm legitly jerry rigging 3 range weapons at the door, by the way, and I'll have a rope to connect to each one.
You're
Sure.
making a turret.
You make some rudimentary traps. Roll your
Okay.
tools to see how well they're made. While you're doing that, Ria, this is the message. You get this one from Laura.
There's something
hear-
else?
I hear Clara.
Oh.
It's Clara. We, Crystal, Cricket, his body, get you working.
Weird.
And I'm also casting that DM.
Gotcha.
Okay.
You see, while you guys are distracted by the message, all the traps are they just vanish.
Charlotte, that's supposed to happen?
Oh, this is guerrilla warfare. It's very basic.
Wait,
Oh,
Cricket's still outside.
Oh, you might want to let screen not to enter the building.
Oh,
Otherwise,
okay.
it'd be fine. Oh, don't leave the building either. It's all set up. So well.
With a roll that good, you actually make a way to disable the traps to allow people through.
Okay. Hang on. And then she disables them for a moment.
Okay, I'm gonna go tell Cricket what's up.
As you approach Cricket, you realize he is talking to Scree at the moment. And they both fall silent when they see you approaching.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Uh, just a precaution. Charlotte started making traps around this house in particular, so if you need something, just knock.
Very well.
Okay, just let me know that. Okay, bye.
He nods. As you walk away, they begin to head back. And we're getting to that now, Brain. So, back to the message. Ryu?
When you say they're perfect, do you mean the traps are perfect, or you mean
Yeah,
you,
the
here's
traps.
Perfect? Here's the... Okay. Yeah. We, Crystal, Cricket, his body, get you working.
Crystal.
I wonder if she's talking about something about Cricket.
Well, I don't know.
Hmm. I look out the window real briefly.
You look out the window. You see Cricket. He's talking to Scree.
Talking to Scree. Okay. How far away am I? Too far away. He was talking to Scree earlier. I think he's still doing that.
It's a bit odd. Didn't think they had that much in common.
I do also think they're also trying to find a way to get us out. And they're
I
making progress.
Can I
But
leave the
there's
house or no?
Charlotte?
Just let me know.
Isabel looks a little curious because I want to listen in, so I'm just going to slightly casually stand up, and I'm going to be Charlotte. Would you allow me to go outside real quick?
Sure. I'll just see if table the chaps for now.
Thank you. I'll be back in a few.
It's basically
She says, and she just walks out.
it's basically set to a switch, Charlotte, so you could totally just show them how to turn it off and on.
I'm not doing that though.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
fair.
Korax is actually gonna top out too, just like basically she's just gonna hop onto the roof just to have like one extra gun ready to fire in case anything approaches. Yeah, she's got Rimbane up.
So you're wearing heavy armor, aren't you?
No, I'm wearing light armor.
Okay. Alright, as for you, Jezebel, roll me a stealth check if you're going to try and eavesdrop.
I'm gonna try.
This is gonna only end well.
So, let me roll their perception checks. Okay. So, as you approach the house, you briefly hear a small bit of conversation. And here is what you make out. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but the chances are very low because there's a lot. Did you hear that? What do you do?
Diswell gives a bit of a frustrated frown when she figures they probably heard her, and then just stands up and just casually starts to walk away as if she was like scouting the perimeter.
Cricket briefly glances to you, and then they resume their conversation.
She still looks a little frustrated, and she can't help but just give a bit of a curious but also skeptic look towards Cricket as she does, but just sighs and then she continues just walking around. So she's just going to, she wasn't planning to, but she's already out and about. She's just going to scan the perimeter, make sure everything is somewhat clear. They can rest a little more easier.
The only thing you see is an elf on the roof.
After she rounds about and she's about to head back into the house, she glances up to Korax and gives a 2-finger salute with a wink and then heads inside.
Korax nods to her and continues her vigil.
Alright. There's also, I believe, one last message, if I recall. You sent one to Elnath, right?
Yeah.
I thought so. Let me just quickly write this down because apparently I never wrote that down. One sec. In the meantime, you're free to roleplay.
Okay. I'm gonna do one more wisdom saving throw. Okay, nothing happens.
I too will do a wisdom saving throw. And nothing seems to be happening.
Nothing else is happening. Okay.
Well, Jezebel walks in with a bit of a frustrated sigh as she goes over to the wall and then slides down on the floor and she goes, Couldn't hear a thing. A little disappointed, but it seems that they're on guard pretty well.
Oh, you didn't even.
They're talking about.
Do you really want to know?
Oh.
If it has anything to do with us, then we deserve to know.
Think Craig will be the type of guy to not clue us in on certain things?
Or so, unless we probably straight out ask him, he may or may not give us an answer.
I don't think we should call him out on it.
I feel like if we don't call him out on it, then nothing will ever happen, though.
Well, why do you say so, dear Cicada? Since you seem to know Cricket a little more longer than we all do.
Yeah, I can talk to him for a bit and see what's going on later.
Alright, I'm done. Ready for the last message? Here's what you get. As a reminder, any messages you send back, DM me them. Don't say them aloud.
All right. Grandpa?
Elnate.
Okay. Dragon. Need. Getting. Now. Also. Jezebel. Rura, yes?
Jezebel immediately perks up with the name. What about Rura?
I can't. I couldn't get. There's no more. Just. Dragon. Need. Getting. Now. Also. Jezebel. Rura, yes? It sounds like he's saying it as a question.
Jezebel looks a little eager and then she looks off while she goes, could they be asking about getting Jezebel, Lady Rua's health? Oh dear.
Didn't he mention Kagura getting hurt last time?
Maybe. Difficult to tell considering how distorted these messages are getting.
So, real quick, dear Ryu, that last message that talked about Lady Rura, was that from your grandfather, you said?
Yeah.
How does he know her name?
He's worked with Kagura. He's worked with her companion Kagura for about a century now. I'm sure he's had to have mentioned her at least once.
You have a point.
You've also mentioned her a few times when he's been in the room.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
But still,
Just make it. It's more so you can see the concern on her face because of the fact that he might be a steel dragon. So there's a part of her that's like concerned about
That's
that part.
fine.
it is something to consider. First Kagura, now Rura. Both of them are part of the group that destroyed the Calamity 100 years ago. I don't think that's a coincidence.
They're also comrades to my father, Alex, as well. They were close before he became a god. In fact, according to my mother, I believe they warned him a little bit about choosing between becoming a god and also his family. But that's a whole other thing. But still, the fact that your grandfather mentioned Lady Rura, he might be asking if I wish to have her assistance. At least that's a guess, anyway.
We won't know until we see him again. There's no way you can get a coherent message here.
No way, then.
Still,
Hmm.
I believe we can get a bit of a picture anyway from what we have so far. They mentioned dragon. That might mean they're probably heading to Dragon City, perhaps?
Dragon
Maybe someone
City?
can help us there.
There's a few of them, isn't there?
It's like one big city with several districts in it. Yeah.
You also
Hmm.
get one more message from Elnate.
Oh,
Ah!
Huh?
This is a test. That was also from Grandpa.
This one was a sending, so you can reply to that one.
that sounded like an actual legit sentence.
Maybe he's doing it slowly so that it's not as distorted.
Hmm.
Maybe you should do that too.
Wait, hold on,
I would
I
s-
forgot something. Sorry. Sorry, 1 second. There we go.
This is a test.
Oh,
So either he's repeating himself, or the message is that distorted.
Really repeating
Still,
himself.
it is the clearest message we ever had. If you want my advice for you, I would say send one word of response to your grandfather to let him know that it worked. That way, perhaps whatever it is he's doing is effective, and he can actually tell us how exactly to send the sending as clearly as possible.
All right.
Sounds like we got to talk in code then.
Maybe. But there's no way we can communicate. But there's no way we'll be able to communicate that to them fully.
That's why I recommend just say one word to let him know that it worked. So that way he can then explain, or whatever method he figured out, he can explain to us how to properly communicate.
In this case, say the word work 5 times.
I was going to try and tell him that our messages are the messages are incoherent.
And that he probably knows that he's probably receiving the same messages. And it's not like yours is going crystal clear either at this rate.
Pretty
Magic
sure.
abilities
Good
are
point.
not strong enough for that.
Good point.
That's why he's testing it. If you repeat the word a lot, then at least one of them will go through, even if it's annoying to read or to listen to.
Say send the word that he would know that would work, such as maybe confirm, to confirm that it worked. You can say positive. You can say okay. Just something to give him a hint that it worked.
Just say it a few times. This is how I recall, like a machine that did this before a long time ago. They would do it in taps. This is similar to that.
So just DM me what you sent for you.
I'm doing that.
Good. Alright. So what do you guys do now?
Okay, so I still have this stone Scree gave me after we killed those starving men, and I have yet to identify that, so I'm gonna do that right now.
Ah yes. That stone. 1 second.
It is rock.
Nope, it is an ion stone. I just can't remember what one I gave it.
Oh,
Oh, that's powerful.
yeah.
What now?
What now? Busted stone. That's bustedness.
Mhm.
Okay,
Not quite. Depends on which one we got.
okay, I have no idea what an ion stone is.
I'm pretty sure
I-
we cover everything besides strength, really. So
What does it do exactly?
We'll find out.
Give me a second. I'm trying to remember which one I was going to give. So yeah, just give me just a tiny second more.
Okay.
She is thinking away.
Absorption.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Uh.
Okay, that thing is a bit okay, kind of kind of on the temporary side, but oh well.
So just so
Uh,
give me a second.
okay.
There you go.
That's how you spell it. Okay.
Yeah, Vierna had
Wondering
one
if I was very
and towards the
aware.
end of the last campaign.
I'm going to have to read through this
But
because
yeah,
I've never seen this item before. Uh,
that's what you found.
Okay. When you use an action, toss one of these stones into the air. The stone orbits your at a distance of 1d3 feet and confers a benefit. Another creature must use an action to grasp or net the stone to separate it from you, either by making a successful attack roll of against AC 24 or a successful DC 24 dexterity acrobatics check. You use the action to seize the stone and stow the stone, ending the effect. With
Having a
an
lot of
AC of 24, 10 hit points and resistance to all damage, it is considered an object that is being worn while it orbits your head. Absorption. While this pale lavender ellipsoid orbits your head, you can use your reaction to cancel a spell, a 4th level or lower cast by a creature you can see and targeting only you. So it's like dispel magic,
Yeah,
basically.
more like counterspell.
Or
counterspell.
counterspell.
Yeah.
Definitely
But
counterspell. Once the stone is cancelled 20 levels of spells, it burns out and turns dull gray, losing its magic.
The only issue I have with this kind of item right now is we don't, at least in this campaign I've seen, we have not encountered any spellcasters that are enemies.
that is true.
Okay. I guess
Oh,
I can hold on to that.
yeah, it's a rare item regardless, very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. If nothing else, we can sell it for money.
Yeah, put that in my inventory now.
Yep.
If we go against a magical like enemy, it'd be useful to have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it requires attunement.
Eh,
I have space for one more attunement.
So you're going to
if I
attune to
haven't
it?
made
Yeah.
if I haven't made the item, I have not attuned to anything else.
Alright, you are now attuned to the Iron Stone.
Neat.
So, that's what you found. Well, we're given.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty useful. I mean, probably not during current circumstances, but useful nonetheless if we manage to get out of here.
Who knows? This might come useful even while we're here. After all, we do know now we are receiving help from my father and our allies back in our own dimension. Question is, how long it's going to take. So we just need to hold out till then.
Great.
Cricket
do one more-
approaches the building and knocks on the door.
Oh, Charlotte, can you turn the traps off?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna answer the door.
I have been talking to Scree. That is his name, yes?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
There may be a portal that is open.
Where?
That is the question.
Is it the one
Oh.
we came through?
He just shrugs. I could go and search for it. However, that would mean I would need to leave you here.
By yourself?
He just
What
tilts
would-
his head and then says, and then he has a briefly confused look and then he says, "Is that concern?"
Yes, it is concerned.
Jezebel gives a bit of a smirk, and she goes, "If I say it was, would you be touched?"
More confused than anything.
And I don't think Cricket has anything to fear from this world.
I'll roll insight on him what he actually feels.
Sure. He is actually pretty touched by that. But he doesn't want to let on because you guys see him as this mysterious entity.
Aw.
Aw.
Wait, I want to see if I can tell too, just because I'm teasing the hell out of him.
Sure.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
Jezebel's smirk kind of whines a little bit, and she puts a hand to her cheek, unable to help herself, and she goes, "Well, you are, my deity, dear Cricket. Want to make sure you're okay, even if you might have slightly frustrated me at the beginning. The fact that you are trying to help us, I am very grateful for."
Is that why you were trying to eavesdrop?
Force a habit, dear. I do apologize.
He
But
says nothing
told you
at
about
that,
this.
and there's a pause, and then he says, "So, shall I head out?"
And Scree was the one who told you about this?
He nods.
What
if the-
else did he tell you?
He told me about the swarm. And watch out for it.
Okay.
That shouldn't be a problem for you, right?
He shakes his head. I can fly.
How long will it take you, though, if you go by yourself?
He shrugs. I will let you know when I find it.
But
What,
does he
what if
point did he manage to point you in another direction?
He shakes his head.
what if the others get us home? What if the others get us to our world before you come back?
You have sending, do you not?
That's
Well,
true.
yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to use it on you before.
He briefly pauses and then he says, I trust you all not to leave me trapped in this dimension.
Of course.
I'm surprised you trust half of us.
I'm just worried about Scree.
To be fair, dear, when I was shopping before, it wasn't because I didn't trust you. It was indeed because of Cree.
He nods.
It's like, how would he know if there was a portal around? He's a Kenku like me, right?
I can sense it as well.
Wait, you can sense it too?
He nods.
Huh.
Cree can sense portals.
He nods.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It is a thing.
It is a thing.
Doesn't
could
quite
be-
answer my question, but okay.
It could
So on the subject of, never mind. I think that'll be metagame. All right.
it could just be it could be just an instinct and someone develops when they've been in this world long enough.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, but my concern is if he can sense them, why hasn't he tried to escape into it?
Because we don't know its exact location. That is why I'm offering to go and see if I can find it.
Which also brings my other concern: how long it's going to take you, dear.
I do not know.
But
That's
Better. It's better than just doing nothing except hiding.
Could be anywhere.
I'm also taking into consideration whether we should go with him or not. That's what I'm considering.
Flying's faster, and he's stronger than any of us, I assume.
So then here's the thing. Do we go with him as well as to have his protection to find this elusive portal, or risk no longer having his protection to protect ourselves here while we wait and hope that either Dear Cricket here finds the portal, or we get saved from our family back at home?
well.
As we all pointed out before, we protected ourselves just fine without him last time.
There are there are those those swarms they're talking about. It sounds like something we can't handle.
Well, in normal circumstances, we can't handle them.
But if we do we'll let him go alone, and the others get us first, he's likely going to end up getting left behind.
He just said he trusts us to not leave him behind, though. She glances at Korax.
I didn't say anything.
She still gives a
So
bit of a smirk, and she just looks over and she goes, So, I for one don't mind us waiting here, rather than us getting lost. That's my opinion on the matter. The only thing is that like dear Cicada wants us to, if we do end up getting to our families, a notification from our families first about them finding a way, that means we're going to have to make sure Cricket also gets back with us.
Well,
So
then.
my concern is, will you all be wanting to wait as well if that happens?
We have sending.
I don't. Who knows? Maybe they'll be able to open a portal for him just the same way they will for us.
I don't want to think about the option of leaving him behind completely while we wait for him to make another portal.
True. Okay. Cricket, trust you. Okay? Be careful.
He nods.
Before you go though, tell us a little bit about this swarm we've been warned about.
It is like rain, but instead of blood or acid or water in the case of your dimension, it is insects. A rain of insects.
I was
Wonderful.
afraid you were gonna say that.
I did see something similar to that during my scouting.
Can we handle this one by ourselves, do you think?
He pauses and then he says, according to Scree, if the swarm is coming, you run.
Oh,
Will we be able to seal the building?
With what, dear? This place is barely holding on as it is.
I don't even think I
Sure
can
will be
fix up a building
okay.
that's like this.
I did see two of these swarms, but they don't appear to be coming anywhere near here.
For now.
Then here's my suggestion on ways to survive this kind of environment. If we're moving, we have to move quickly and swiftly to another place to make a base of operations for a few days.
I have been making a map of this place as we're going. And I did spot another ruined settlement nearby.
That sounds good. If we can narrow or funnel our enemy through an area, then it'll be easier to deal with them.
Right.
If we're out in the open, it'll be harder to deal with entire waves.
I do like that idea. I too can scout ahead if I need to find other places if we have to. Especially because, as Dear Cricket just said, the suggestion is run, not fight.
Yeah.
No, but sometimes running is not an option. So you gotta prepare for the worst.
Well, either way, seems we made up our minds. So, Dear Cricket, I do wish you luck.
He nods. And
Come straight.
go on.
Come straight back as soon as you find something.
He nods. And
Charlotte would walk over to Cricket.
yeah,
She looks up to him, who is a lot taller than the small rabbit,
yep.
and she pats his leg. I have faith in you. No one so soft would leave us.
Could you repeat that? You cut out a little bit.
I said I would pat his leg, and Charlotte would say, I trust in you. I don't think anyone so soft would leave us behind.
I am indeed covered in feathers. He then turns and moves to walk away. Does anyone have anything final to say?
If we do end up getting home before you, we will help you whatever it takes. You've helped us much here, and Kitsune repay their debts.
He glances back briefly and then just gives a nod. And as he leaps into the air, you all see his body elongate and transform. And Cicada, you recognize this form
Oh my god, he's
from your
switched into
vision.
total form. Oh my goodness.
Interesting.
Flying snake.
And with that, Cricket is gone.
I know I shouldn't be saying this. I shouldn't be saying this for an eldritch being, but he never ceases to amaze.
Yeah.
When you grow up with a father who's a god and you see a lot of things, you kind of get used to it. Kinda.
I guess so.
So,
Well, everyone gonna go rest for night?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Korax
yeah,
is going
ritual.
to Korax is going to stay at the top of the tower, trance, and keep watch.
Okay. And I'm just going to ritual cast Liamon's tiny hut.
okay.
But actually, hold that thought. Could that hold off the swarm?
Eh?
I don't know. You'd have to ask.
Through it. It says all other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it.
I don't know. You'd have to ask Scree, since Cricket's already gone.
I'm going to. Scree,
Right?
does the spell Liamon's Tiny Hut mean anything to you?
You see his eyes just slowly widen wider and wider, and then he shuffles forward and he's right in your face as he says, "Oh, you think I could sleep with you guys tonight?"
Yeah.
We were just wondering if that would hold off the swarm.
That depends. Will you allow me to sleep with you tonight?
Jezebel gives a bit of a smirk to crash. She goes, well, Corax, you're the one that asked.
By all means,
Fine.
he's not the elder god that's been stalking us.
He quickly shuffles into the space and then he says, "Yes. Yes, it will. In fact,
Okay.
it will stop everything."
For 8 hours.
Even longer if you continue to cast it.
Yeah, I can.
We'll be asleep.
Well, Cicada can't sleep.
What?
She has to
Yeah,
be
I can.
you have to be concentrating on it.
No, it's not concentration.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was misremembering that. In that case, yeah, you can sleep. But yeah.
It's a ritual spell.
Oh, don't worry. I'll wake you up before it fades.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see,
Well, let's not exhaust our dear cicada either by having her continue to cast it. So, when sleeping and sparingly when the swarm appears.
he just looks at you like you're an alien.
What she means is
You have
I can only
the
cast it so many times.
you have access to the literal only thing in this place that's able to make a safe place.
That's fair. But it's immobile, so we'll be stuck in here for 8 hours unless I dispel it.
Being stuck in a place for 8 hours with food and water, I'm pretty sure we'll be suffering, won't we? Alright?
Fair enough.
I just don't want to exhaust our friend. Thank you very much.
It's a ritual spell.
I'll be
I-
fine.
I don't mean
cast
by
it every
just
10
that. I
minutes.
mean about our own sanity as well. She says,
Oh.
looking frustrated as she actually glares at Corax. Don't think I haven't noticed, dear Corax.
Scree sits down in one of the
Our
corners.
sanity.
I'm
having our
talking
sanity
Corax. Scree sits down in one of the corners and his butt gives a little wiggle as he then curls up and goes to sleep.
We need to be alive for our sanity to mean anything.
I just want everybody to strain themselves and be more prompt to change. She says, looking a little bit almost like stressed out.
In well, nothing's happened so far. So
You haven't noticed.
noticed what?
Isabel sighs, she rubs her temple, and she goes, Corax, your eyes have been glowing.
Wait, what? Like pulls out her sword, looks at it in the reflection.
In the darkness.
Well, that's not good.
Oh my goodness.
And not only that, he says, and she goes, looks over Cicada, looking actually concerned. Dear Cicada, when I rubbed my hand over the top of your head, I'm afraid I did feel something that did not feel normal.
Kid also feels her head and she feels the 2 bumps. And it's like, what? Oh
That is
no.
what I meant by not straining ourselves. As much as I know that we are safe in here, and we continue to cast spells and such as we need be, I don't want that to further progress these changes that you two have at least shown so far.
But I mean, that is a fair concern, considering the way you recover your spell slots is by receiving the, energy from the land.
Oh.
So now you see my point, she says a
Yep.
little bit sternly.
Though in that Cicada's
But
case,
then-
she receives the power from a patron.
She Giselle takes another deep breath to calm down. She's okay for now, but she tries to keep a level head as she says, I'm just saying, we need to be aware. Because unfortunately, 2 of you have been showing changes. And I thought you knew. And I don't mean to stress you out further by pointing it out, but I thought it best you also know that unfortunately it has started.
And
Oh,
the Korax one has holy magic, so its power comes directly from a god. So that probably wouldn't count either. But I mean, and
Thank
then
you,
and then
Discreet.
and then you have
Appreciate it.
and then you have the bunny and the rabbit. I'm sorry if that was insensitive, but I mean, they also went through changes. I mean, their entire color changed. So I mean, that's technically a change too.
I don't think that
Jezebel
had
looks
anything to do
annoyed.
with this place.
And I mean, you've grown tails, so I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not
I'm
normal to have more than one tail, so that's a change too.
I'm a kitsune.
Oh, I'm not sure what that is, but Gesundheit.
Discreet, how about we play the quiet game for a little bit,
I'm not a child. You
We
could,
did invite you in here, though. We can
yes,
also kick
but
you out.
you can just ask me to be quiet. You don't have to pretend it's a
Then
game.
then please be quiet.
He just gives a yeah, okay.
Charlotte pats Trace back.
Jezebel again looks a little stressed out. She rubs her temple again, feeling a headache form, and she goes, "Forgive me for being snappy. Guess I'm just concerned."
Does anyone else have any changes?
I'm still gonna pass Trace back.
So
Didn't
far,
understand.
for Jezebel, no. She did
No.
get a little more out of character being stressed out, but for now she's calmed down and she's herself again.
What's the DC?
Whatever you want it to be.
okay. So I've decided to make the DC a little bit higher with each wisdom save, just a little bit. And she failed the save. So Kate is kind of panicking a little bit.
Korax just rolled, so I think she'll be keeping her cool for now.
Also, Charlotte, Scree gives you a happy, and he nuzzles you. Though, as he nuzzles you, you make note of the fact that his mouth is the size of your head.
Yeah, I look a little panicked at that.
He stops and just turns away and just sits there.
Yeah. And now Cicada is kind of having a mild mental breakdown. She's trying to pat down her head, and some feathers fall out.
Oh.
We need to
That-
get out of here.
It's a
Jezebel looks a little concerned and a little guilty because technically she probably should have kept quiet, but she figured they would need to know, so she stands up, goes over, pulls Cicada into a hug and into her lap, and sits on the ground and holds her. She goes, "Don't. Remember what I said about scratching your head, dear? Please don't."
Is it scratching this time, I swear?
don't worry, we can glue it back
Softly.
on.
Hey, what did we say about being quiet?
Well, you're not being quiet.
We asked you to be quiet, not me.
So what? He actually looks a little annoyed at that, and he just stands up and then says, "You're very mean." And then he turns and heads out of the tiny hut.
Charlotte would try to grab his hand or claw.
You do so?
We didn't kick you out.
If being in here means being in a room with that meanie, I'd rather risk my chances in my nest.
You'd rather risk your life just because you don't like somebody.
Well, since apparently I can't even talk in this place, yes. And
Who are you going to talk to in your nest?
myself.
I can respect that. Go on.
He heads out.
Kinda feels really bad now.
If the swarm shows up, bolt back in here. You should still be able to get in.
Fine.
We used my trap, so I don't think he will be able to.
He'll survive a gunshot wound. He won't survive the
It's-
swarm, I feel.
It's not the gunshot room. That's not the trap.
Regardless, now you have the silence you always wanted.
Isabel just sighs as she just shakes her head. She might feel a little guilty deep down, but she's really not feeling like it right now. And she just continues to softly pass the case back. She goes, "Just rest for now, dear, all right? I didn't mean to stress you out. I just thought it'd be nice if you knew. But for now, like I said, we have some hope of being rescued. We have two hopes, Cricket and our family back home. For now, just try to rest."
Okay.
So, is there anything else you guys do tonight?
I activate my traps and I just lay down.
Alright.
Despite everything that's currently happening to her, she does eventually fall asleep.
As you sleep, you get another vision. This time, you're in a first person perspective. You're someone currently chanting something as a portal opens up in front of you. And all you see emerge from the portal is a red moon. And then you wake.
Huh? And it's probably been 8 hours, so the spell has faded.
So, is there anything anyone would like to do before we wrap this session up?
Yeah.
Go for it.
As the morning dawns, to a degree, Charlotte would deactivate the traps and looks to the group. Well, traps are off for tonight or for the day. It's hard to tell anymore. I'm gonna take a walk.
I'm
Okay.
go.
I'm
I'm
gonna
going
go-
with. I'm going with you.
Okay, I'm gonna go check on Scree.
Yeah, me
That's-
too.
You find Scree curled up in his nest, quietly sleeping. There's a piece of paper clutched in his hand, in his claw as he sleeps.
I don't think we should wake him. I say telepathically.
Let's see what this is at least. I say telepathically back. What is the piece of paper?
Roll perception since he is holding it.
Guess it must be folded.
Yeah, it's scrunched up in his claws.
Yeah.
Cicada is going to silently place a bundle of apples on his nest.
Alright. Do you do anything else?
That's about it.
Alright. It'll be another hour before he wakes, but he does indeed eat them. What about the rest of you?
I'm going
Charlotte.
to-
As Charlotte is walking around the area, she knows Ryu is following her, and she tilts her head towards Kitsune. Choice to stick with me.
We can't. I can't. We can't afford to be wandering around here alone.
That may be true, but you gotta have some confidence in your abilities, I guess. If you can't walk where you please, you're not really free anymore, are you?
Well, I am a. Well, I am a. I am a. I am a follower of protection and freedom.
All right. Follow our protection of freedom. a paladin of the Platinum Dragon, great powerful being, a child who's legitly a deity, and someone who's following a great unknown. It's a weird bunch.
We have been we have been quite the unusual group, haven't we?
It makes me feel a lot smaller, but at the same time, I got bigger goals.
Really? What are
Ninja.
you planning to do what are you hoping to do when we get home?
Who left?
Ninja.
Oh, Jezebel.
Okay.
I think
Sorry.
Annette went out.
Okay.
Or she's getting tired.
If she was tired, she would have said something.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Well, the only thing I got going for me, and I guess in that sense, my grandma was the inventor of arcane magic. Well, not arcane, artificers. Learning how to use inventions for magical purposes.
You're trying to follow in her footsteps?
No, that would be like living in her shadow. I want to be brighter than that.
Living in her shadow.
I'm not sure if a cleric would understand that, but aren't you
I
tired of always being compared to something greater than you?
I I am. I I was. I've been all my life. I've heard of. I've been hearing stories of Kagura. Hit, and since his family name is the same as ours, I guess I'm expected to live up to his example. But you have. How can you expect? How can you expect any? How can you expect just anyone to live up to live up to the example of a king that saved the world from a calamity?
The simple answer, isn't it, Rio? Not much to think on. It's just, you're not supposed to. No one expects you to. Only you put those expectations on yourself. You don't have to listen to everyone else.
I'm not thinking about it in retrospect. I probably did. I was so. I was so. I was so. Oh, obsessed with distinguishing myself from Kagura, uh, and wanting to surpass him that I ended up following in his footsteps. That I ended up following in his footsteps anyway. But
Well,
I haven't. It hasn't been all bad. I've met you all, and you don't. And you all acknowledge me for who I am. Maybe that's just all I've wanted all this time.
Rio, in the end of it all, what you decide to do is up to you. Whether it be the same thing as Kagura, or something completely different, that's up to you to decide. Regardless if you follow in his footsteps or not, you gotta be content in doing what you want to do. That's what I learned anyway. My grandma, some would say I would be following in her footsteps as a progenitor, but that's not what it really means, if that makes sense. When I say I want to be better than her, I'm going to use what she built and make it better. Maybe you can do the same.
So try to improve on what you're saying. I could try to improve on. I could try to instead improve on everything Kagura fought to save.
Don't let his dream be worthless. but make sure your dream isn't either.
I won't.
That's all you can do.
Uh, th- Thank you for hearing me out, Charlotte. I don't think I've ever really been able to sit down and tell anyone tell anyone all that.
Yeah. Oh, I went through a few existential crises, if that wasn't obvious.
I've noticed, but it's good to see that you've got your old self back.
The blood of war still stains my hands. But, and I'll never forget him. But I think that's more sad if I let it control me.
I guess the best I can. I guess the best I guess the best advice I can give in response to that is that is do what you can, do what you can, and to make your do what you can to make your life worth having blood on your own hands for.
Do what you can. Well, we're in a dire situation right now. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, we're not going to be fulfilling any of our dreams or living up to anyone's example here. We need to get home, and soon.
You start to see the lines painted on Charlotte's hand once more, glowing and actually sparking this time. Rather, the face that's covered, like the hair that's covering her eye, it starts to spark as well. I need to test this more. But until then, we'll stay here for a bit.
Remember, the last resort.
No, I have other plans. This ain't for the portal's sake. That will still be my last resort. Don't worry about that.
I see.
I did say I was going to build up my grandmother's foundations, and this is one of them.
So, is there anything else anyone would like to do before we wrap this session up?
Gonna look around with my binoculars, see if I can spot anything moving apart from the swarms.
Roll perception.
With advantage. Probably not gonna see anything.
Nah, you don't see anything.
Do I see anything with elevated sight?
You see them moving in the distance. Like, when I say in the distance, they're like 2, maybe 3 days away.
Yeah. But they're moving in opposite directions,
Mm.
right?
And you don't know if they are the swarms. All you know is that they're a large group of vaguely humanoid-sized creatures. Anyway, anything else anyone would like to do?
I think that's all I can do because currently Jezebel is having trouble with internet right now.
Then, since with Jezebel out of commission and only being 10 minutes left in time, I think we'll wrap this session up here. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.